everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to draw hair using pencils. I'm going to show you how to blend and then add in the different tones to get a realistic finish. If you are new here, my name is Gemma and I create weekly art content, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss one of my uploads. Okay, so let's get straight into this hair drawing. I'm going to focus on drawing long hair first, and then I will also work on the shorter hair later on in the video, so make sure you keep watching to see how I create the hair for both of the looks. When drawing hair, it's really important to focus on the line drawing first, looking at each of the sections of the hair and also noticing the direction of each section and drawing that in. As you can see, I have lots of different areas sectioned off. Once I'm happy with all of the sections, I can then start adding tonal values. I'm going to add the tonal values in layers. I start off with a really light pressure and shade in small sections of the hair. When I'm lightly shading, I hold my pencil towards the very end on an angle. This ensures that my pressure is even. If I held my pencil closer to the nib of the pencil, I might have inconsistencies in my shading. Once I've added in the light layer of tone, I then blend it out with a paper towel. Paper towel is really useful if you do not have a blending stump or tortilla. I fold the paper into a little point and I use that to blend with. With each section of hair, I'm shading in the direction of that section. It's really important to actually look at the hair in your reference photo or mirror if you're drawing from life. Try to draw the hair in the direction that it naturally falls. Once I'm happy with the lighter tones, I start to gradually build up the dark tones by increasing the amount of graphite I'm using. I increase my pressure with my pencil and add in those darker tones in the areas to make my hair look more realistic. Usually hair is a lot darker towards the root of the hair and towards the end, with a highlight on the top. So I have left some areas of my hair a lot lighter, especially on some of the waves, as that's where the light would reflect from naturally. I'm now going to focus on getting the rest of my hair blocked in, filling in all of the different tonal values that I would like to use, and then I'm going to blend them out with my paper towel. Now I've blocked in the main tones, I can start to add some darker tones to really bring the hair to life and give it the effect of individual hairs. Most of the time when I'm teaching, I see hair being drawn in with individual strands, which can often look quite wiry, as there isn't any soft shading or form to the hair when it's drawn like that. Drawing in the hair in sections is really important to make your hair drawing look so much more realistic. I'm going to add darker tone to each section by darkening the root and adding in further darker tones to other areas within the section. I will also ensure I leave the highlights in the hair too. I'm following my reference photograph for where I'm adding in my darker tones, so the hair that I'm actually copying is really quite dark in some sections, which is why I've gone in really dark in some areas of the hair. However, I do decide that it just looks a little bit unnatural, so I then remove some of that with an eraser. Once I've done that, I then add in some of those flyaway hairs around the outside of the head to make it look a little bit more realistic, as when you look at your own hair in the mirror, you'll often find that you do have a few loose hairs that are not within the main body of your actual hair. I then use the eraser in other sections of the hair to remove some of those highlights, just so that it makes the piece look a lot more realistic. Using a kneaded razor or a regular eraser is a really good tool to have when you are drawing, because you can get those highlights back out of your piece in case you do make a little bit of a mistake. So I recommend having one of those to hand so that you can add really small details with your eraser for your highlights. I have used a 3B, 5B and a 6B pencil to draw in some of the darker tones, but if you do not have a set of tonal pencils, try increasing the pressure with your HB pencil. You can pick up a set of tonal pencils from your local art supply shop pretty inexpensively. If you're interested, I have linked a set in the description box below. If you are enjoying today's video, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on when I upload. I'm now going to make the finishing touches to the long hair. I'm going to add in a few more dark tones. I think the main takeaway point for the longer hair is to work in layers of tone. Adding in soft layers to begin with and blend those out with a tortillon, a blending stump or some paper towel. Always work in the direction of the section of hair, and once you add in the darker tones, you want to make sure you're looking at your reference and only adding them in where you can actually see them. Okay, so now onto the shorter hairstyle. As you can see, I've already marked out the drawing and added in each section of the hair. I base this on the direction the hair is actually facing. I then make a start by working on a section at a time, adding shading with a light pressure of my pencil. I blend it out with a piece of paper towel, and on the section towards the side I leave a lighter section in the middle and gradually shade darker towards the root and the outer edge. Once I've done this, I then add in with a darker pencil, so I use a 3B, a 5B or a 6B on this section, and I add in a few more details with that darker pencil to make it look like those individual hairs on top of the blended out pencil that I had already added. I then follow the steps on the same process but in the next section of the hair, and I'm following the direction upwards now, and I'm leaving the band within the middle a lighter shade, and I blend this out in the exact same way with my paper towel, and again I use a darker shade towards the root, so this time nearer to the forehead, and then I darken it towards the outer part of the hair, as this is how it looked in my reference photograph. Once I'm ready and I'm happy that all of this is completely finished, I can then refine the piece by adding in darker tones and also using my eraser to remove some of the highlights from the hair. I use the very corner of my eraser to get a sharp edge so that I can get a really clean highlight within my work, or using a kneaded eraser that I have rolled into a really fine point to then work in an area where I want to get some high details in. Using an eraser is a good way to get some high details in your work and to finish off well. I think that it also helps to improve the quality of the work, as those bright highlights can contrast really nicely to some of the darker tones that you have in your piece. I then finish off by refining and adding in any darker tones that I need to the piece, and then I think I am finished. There you have it, that was my hair drawing. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you give it a comment, a like, and also subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.